All right, guys, welcome back to Wild Outdoor Living. Today, we're talking about my new and improved Zwift setup for 2021. If you guys remember from the channel, I have made two other videos about Zwift. First time, I was just trying it out, borrowing some equipment and seeing if it was right for me. And at the time, I kind of passed for a while. The next year, I came back. I had a setup, but there were some issues, especially since I do not have home internet and actually still don't. And so I was using it at the bike shop where I work, running it off a laptop. Some of those things are still the same, but some of them have changed and it's made life much nicer. So right now, we're going to jump into what I've improved to make things work better for me on Zwift for 2021. All right, so the first big change that you're going to see is we're actually in my house, kind of in the studio where I film a lot of these videos. And that's a big change from having to do it in the basement of a bike shop, far away from my house. Just a whole lot more convenient. I can actually do rides whenever I want now and kind of whenever it works for me, and I don't need to go as far. If you're traveling to do Zwift, you almost better just ride your bike outside. This makes it a lot nicer. The other thing we've changed is we've gone to a 43-inch TV screen instead of either the phone or the laptop. It just makes things a lot easier to see. It's easier to follow the game, kind of less eye fatigue and all of that. And honestly, I paid like 300 bucks for this TV, I think, 5 years ago. So I've already gotten my money out of it. You can get screens this size actually for fairly affordably. And what we actually do is we still switch this back and forth between here and our movie station, which only takes me about 30 seconds. If you've got a sound bar and stuff like that, it's going to take you longer. So that would be something to keep in mind. But you could get another TV for pretty cheap, maybe even used, and it makes a big difference. So to make this all happen, again, we still don't have home internet in this house and probably won't while we live here. But what we do is we just connect this dongle directly to the iPhone and run Zwift right off the iOS app. So, if you've got an iPhone, you can already do this, but what we do is we connect it to the TV, so it's a lot nicer than staring at a tiny phone screen. You definitely need to have an unlimited data plan. Do not do this without an unlimited data plan unless it's like a one-time thing. Yeah, don't. Don't do that. Zwift definitely pulls quite a bit of data all on its own. It also pulls quite a bit of power. So there's a power cord connected to this, and it's not a very good power cord, and it's also a 5-watt charging block. So my phone will actually sit at the same power and sometimes lose a couple percentages over an hour ride. So yeah, I would make sure your phone is charged up. I would also recommend getting a nice charging cable and probably like a bigger charging block, like an 18-watt rather than a little 5-watt. So that'll make things easier on your charging, but just be aware, it pulls a ton of power. And then we use, I think, a $30 fan. I think we got it at Walmart a couple of years ago. It puts out a lot of power. It definitely keeps me nice and cool. Usually run it on the low setting, and we just put it right here on the floor and just tip it back and forth. And it's 30 bucks. It's louder than the really high-end fans. It's not automatic. It's not based on your power or anything, but it does the job just fine and it saved us a bunch of money. So to make things a little bit easier, rather than running a really nice, over the handlebars type of training specific bench, for a used table from IKEA, not a great table, but it works for the job, and it was really cheap. And then we use this that I think we got at a thrift store somewhere. And usually a water bottle will be sitting on there, maybe some snacks. And then what we do is we have a seat post here and a multi-tool, and we just switch seat posts back and forth between me and my wife. And then we don't have to switch bikes as much, and we don't need to have any other trainers. So that makes things a little bit easier. Works out for us to just use this 920. We of course have the bike bib to keep things nice and protected and have a convenient place to put our phone. This one is from Cyclops, which is not really around anymore. It's part of the Saris brand. So if you want something like this, look for Saris. I think Wahoo makes some as well. These are going to be a cycling specific thing, but they're pretty cheap and they are definitely worth having. We have to have the phone up top to control things because it's running off the app, and then it protects the headset. And then the trainer, of course, we're running a Wahoo Kicker Snap, and $500 trainer full retail, you may be able to get some discounts sometimes, although I know they're out of stock a lot. They also sell the Wahoo Kicker Core, which is a direct drive trainer, which isn't too much more expensive than this. So if you have a little bit more budget, you may go for that. But if you have an extra wheel, it's really easy to just put a trainer tire on there and have a really smooth fluid setup for not too much money. And this has worked great for us over the past couple seasons. Really haven't had any issues and have loved the performance out of it. So that is our Zwift setup. It's all sitting on a rug that I think we got for free. You can get rugs pretty cheap used, and a lot of times you can find them in pretty nice shape. This one's pretty good. You of course can get, a specific trainer mat, and those are cool, but I feel like I like the style of this more. It's just a little bit more homey. Yeah, I just like the style more. And I'm pretty sure it was cheaper. So keeps the trainer nice and stable, and it's better than sitting on the concrete. So those are some ideas for you. Hopefully you got something out of that. If you like this video, please feel free to subscribe. Always trying to make more content, and we'll catch you later.